Supraland is an indie game inspired by classics such as Portal and Zelda. It prides itself on being a mix of different game genres, including a metroidvania, albeit not the best one. But the Steam description does say it's a mix between exploration, puzzles, and terrible combat, so at least it's self-aware. The game sits at around 12 to 25 hours of playtime, and honestly the game is packed full of content to play through, and many secrets to find. I also need to mention that this is not my first time playing the game. I played it back in 2019 on the Xbox, and I've been wanting to get back into it ever since. So when I saw the game was on sale on Steam, I just had to pick it up, dust it off for yet another playthrough, so let's get right into the review. The plot is pretty straightforward, it's nothing crazy or new, but it is charming. If I had to break it down, then I would describe it as a Romeo and Juliet-like plot, just without the fatalistic love story. Instead, the game is about the conflict between the Reds and the Blues. You're tasked by your parents to travel to the Blues Kingdom to restore water to your village, which the Blues steal from you at the start of the game. The plot twist as to why is also pretty funny too. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, I'm happy the game doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a silly story for a silly game, and it fits right in. The story is pretty short too, so it doesn't really get boring. It's just a charming little story that's great for players who just want a laid-back plot. The game describes itself as a Metroidvania, but does it succeed at that? Well, not really. It's more like a Metroidvania lite, with a massive emphasis on the light. The combat is pretty goofy and kind of bad, but I think that's why I love it so much, because it's so janky and doesn't really have any difficulty to it. The devs are also aware that the combat is not one of Supra's strengths. I mean, they even joke about it in the description. You have a few options for combat, but your main weapons are your gun and your sword. It's a janky system, but that's what makes it so fun, because you just spam the button and kill the enemy. There's also a few bosses, albeit there's only two, and they aren't really involved with combat. They're mainly just puzzles, and that's one of the aspects I didn't like. I wish they would have made it so you could actually fight these bosses, but they're mainly just ways of introducing puzzles as well, which is still fun, don't get me wrong, but I wish there were more bosses, just so we could, explore all the different mechanics as well as the combat a little bit more. Supraland's true main focus is its in-depth and diverse puzzle system, and well does it succeed with its puzzle mechanics. The starter puzzles are very straightforward and introduce you to the game's basic mechanics, but as you progress, these puzzles can really get you to stop and think, with a variety of different puzzles that can be pretty difficult. However, the game does tell you whether you have everything required for a puzzle, using NPCs in the area to drop little hints to the player, usually by straight up telling you the solution or giving you funny little riddles to solve through dialogue, so you never truly feel lost. I love the puzzle system due to the fact that it perfectly blends multiple mechanics within the game. Some puzzles require thinking, some require precise timing, and some can only be solved with certain pieces of equipment, which also means that some puzzles can only be solved later on in the game, when you unlock more equipment and upgrades, just like the purple cube or the teleport gun. It's a great system that's both player friendly and challenging. I love it, especially with how some of the puzzle solutions are given to you through hints, whether it's a hint from a nearby NPC or the environment itself. The exploration in Supraland is amazing. You start off with hardly anything and you are given no choice but to explore and get upgrades. There are a few hidden puzzles in the spawn area, and there's also some that are inaccessible until later on. And that's what I think is so great about the exploration. It means that you can explore at your own pace. There's a ton of secrets to find on the way to your objective, and they leave it up to you whether you want to explore everything you possibly can. It's super addicting, finding hidden areas, new loot, buying new upgrades, to access new areas with new equipment. The game is absolutely perfect for completionists, and there are many upgrades that can really change the flow of the game. You can get upgrades in chests during the story or from shops, and getting these upgrades can greatly change how the game works. For instance, it can open up more paths for you to explore, and for you to unlock new equipment. It even makes it easier to solve other puzzles that require faster movement. Endgame was super satisfying, destroying everything in one hit and jumping around with all my gear maxed out just to get those last few achievements to earn that 100% completion. It just makes the game feel so rewarding, where you can finally finish a puzzle that you previously couldn't, or find a new hidden area with new loot. The movement mechanics are also really smooth and satisfying. They really add to how the game flows. The more you upgrade yourself, the faster you become. When you find new gear, you also open up new locations. You can upgrade things like your HP, speed, and jump height, as well as your gear to lock even more mechanics. It leads to this wonderfully paced gameplay loop, leaving the player to themselves in this sandbox world to discover new things and grow at their own pace. One thing I do want to complain about, however, is the HUD. Towards the end of the game, it's absolutely overflowed with your HP bar and other menus that take up quite a bit of your screen. However, it kind of adds to the weird, goofy charm of this game. I also want to quickly speak about the amount of references in this game. There's an achievement for finding and collecting artifacts from dead heroes. These heroes are very much inspired by some pretty famous characters from various forms of media, like Indiana Jones himself, Walter White cooking up something, or even Vault Boy from the Fallout franchise. I think this really adds a lot to the game. I love these fun little references, especially with that added flair of comedy, and there's also many achievements in this game that are tied to referencing other media or finding Easter eggs. Some are really well hidden too. And finally, the music. How does it hold up? Well, honestly, it's great. I love the soundtrack. It's nothing special, but it is relaxing. The soundtrack feels both ambient and nostalgic, which perfectly fits within the game, especially with the setting being a child's play area in a garden. It just adds to the charm. Oh, and that end credit song is an absolute banger, but for now, let's move on to the final verdict. Supraland has surprised me yet again. I fell in love with it as a teen, and I've fallen in love with it yet again. With its diverse puzzles, fun references, weird and wacky story, and its jankiness, there's a lot to love about this game. I honestly found its use of mechanics to be very clever. The way we get hints is genius, and with excellent gameplay pacing, it's no wonder I loved this game back in 2019. So it's only right that I would give it a fair rating of 90% on the rev meter for its exceptional use of mechanics and hours of pure entertainment. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate any type of support. And if you have any feedback, then leave it in the comments, it really helps. If you want to see me do more quickfire reviews like this, then let me know, and who knows, if you want to see a follow-up review for the DLC and this game's sequels, then I'd absolutely be up for it, especially with the announcement of Supraland World a few days ago. But for now, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Thank you for watching.
Etwas, das fehlt. Mein Penthouse sagt mir die ganze Stadt. Der Kühlschrank ist voll, ich bin immer satt. Der Golfclub ist mir einerlei, denn ich sehn mir nur eine herbei. Was hat er, was ich nicht hab? Ich bin ein Kavalier.